Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Breath of Fire 2. How you doing, Skyzo?
I'm doing well. Hello, YouTube.
Alright, so last episode we went over the second tier dragon forms and also Tapeta. Long story short, the second tier dragons are hilariously broken, and Tapeta is the exact opposite of broken. He sucks. Also, Nina has about reached the peak of her combat utility in Nemfo's tower, so we're gonna strip her gear in favor of some other characters. Also, the reason Tapeta stinks, basically his only redeeming factor is that he learns the warp spell at level 14, and he also has a fairly useful field ability, but apart from that, his stats are garbage, and he levels up slower than anyone else. As for Ryu's second tier dragon spells, they are basically a one-shot on like 90% of the enemies in this game, even end-game ones. So, after making it daytime, we're gonna head to this next town to move on with the plot.
Alright.
Tapeda's hometown. Or Jean, that's his old translation name. By the way, did you know that your steps don't increase during the water, which means you don't get any encounters?
I guess that's like one of the only benefits to using this character, huh?
That and the fact that when he's on land, he takes 2 steps but only increases the counter by 1, and plus he can jump off on cliffs, so he's useful for utility, but combat-wise, not so much. In fact, he may not even be the real prince, because as it turns out, the guards think he's a fake. Bummer.
Well, I mean, how would you be able to tell, right, the difference? Because, like, they're all frogs, so...
And what I like the most is that he still thinks they're trying to parade him through the castle, or they're just practicing their wrestling moves upon him as they're doing so.
That's kind of funny.
Oh, a frog named Prince, or... No wait, he is the prince. And he's blue. A lot more put together, too. No French accent, though, it looks like, so that's strange.
He should be the one to join the party.
He does look a lot cooler, doesn't he?
He looks a lot more capable.
Yeah. And see, he's a nice guy. He's even arranged for a boat to take us out, because without Tapeda's field ability, we can't swim anymore. But, what's gonna happen to Tapeta? Is he... Oh. Okay, see? Swiftly and fairly. Tapeda's fine. We've nothing to worry about. What? They look so much alike? One of them's green and one of them's blue! What's the conflict?
Yeah, that's an odd one.
Maybe none of them are that bright. Who knows?
Well, you are talking about frogs, so...
Wait, Lady Tapeta? Petape? That's... First of all, that's a rearrangement of Tapeda's name, and secondly... There's a princess. Maybe she would know who's real and who's not. And hey, there she is right now. But, Skyzo, what is she doing with that rock, and how is she moving it? And, hey,
Must have
what
some
is
immense strength to lift that.
That was our boat! What the heck, man? Why did she do that?
Looks like we're trapped here then.
Yeah, see, even Ryu's freaked out. He, like, put on a full-blown ellipses right there.
Wouldn't that be the first time he talked? Quote unquote talked, right?
No. Like, remember when he was stuck in the ground when Sten joined? He gave us a full-blown
Oh, right. Okay. So this is only his second time talking.
Yeah. Also, why did she throw us in the water? I mean, the prince doesn't have any ill will. She's the princess. What does she think is gonna happen?
I'll be honest, I think this is the start of a new saga or something.
Oh, also, one of the other frogs, he thinks Tapeda's the real deal too, and that maybe the blue frog who acts completely differently might be a fake. What do you think about that, Skyzo?
Well, I thought he was legitimate. I mean, he gave off this impression that he was, the real deal.
Well, it looks like there might be some drama in regards to that. Also, dang, this guy's got stones talking back to his commanding officer like that. Did you see that, Skyzo?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Oh well. I mean... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so apparently Tapeda leaves the kingdom regularly. This isn't even the first time. Well, at least Batape is taking it seriously.
Odd. Also, this isn't the first time that a character just has something that's rearranged. Like we've seen something like that in like one of the previous games.
Indeed. Also, do our guys not know how to swim? Well, I mean, maybe not Nina, because she has wings, but what are they doing? What are they... What's happening?
Hey, maybe this is the start of the real game. We are actually the frog.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, we almost drowned. To be fair, that's probably not as bad as being buried under 6 feet of rock, or getting ripped apart by Barbary in the intro, or...
Right, well, I mean, to be fair, we did have, our equipment with us and items and such, so I can see why we would almost drown.
You know what? That's a good point. Thanks for pointing that out, Skyzo. Also, what does she mean this situation would have been worse? Seriously, what does she think would have happened? She's the princess and we're just strangers. What's going on?
I have no idea. This is confusing.
Well, I've played the game and it's still confusing, so that's not on you.
So she's not an imposter or anything?
He's not. It turns out that the blue guy really is a fake, and somehow they've deceived everyone, including her dad. Funny.
Huh.
More to the point, though, we really don't have anything to do with this. We've got a thief girl to catch, so probably we should just leave this one to her.
Yeah, I could see that.
But, as usual, but thou must. Unfortunately, he'll know doesn't give any amusing dialogue, so... And plus this is a half hour, so let's just say yes.
I don't understand why they would have, like, you often see this in RPGs, but they'll have, like, an option to say no, and then it does nothing when you press it.
Well, occasionally you get some amusing bits of dialogue, but yeah, at that point I feel like the silent protagonist should just be talking, or at least phrase the yes or no responses in amusing ways, which this translation does, admittedly, but Anyways, we're finally allowed to play again, so that deluxe rod, it's a really strong fishing rod that lets you get stronger fish, but we don't care because we're not gonna fish till the very end, so we're gonna sell it for a decent sum. As is most of the stuff we're selling right now. We want to keep some sets of weak armor for more death warping, but apart from that, we want to sell most things. Be sure to look at my description if you want to know what to sell and what to keep. Also, a copper baton for lean, huge upgrade you want to get no matter what. Iron knuckle, Rand's gonna want that, because since we're not using second tier dragons. A buckler, because shields will be nice for Cat, and then an iron armor and an iron plate for Ryu and Sten. Now, significantly, they have almost the same amount of defense. It's just that the iron plate sacrifices 2 points of defense for being 3 points lighter. And since Sten is very borderline on outspeeding things, we want him to have the iron plate while the slowpoke Ryu has the iron armor. And before we go to this next part, we want Rand in the front and Ryu in the back, because it is a very luck-based fight, and we absolutely need to get off a whelp spell to have a decent chance of winning. This next boss fight is devilish. Let's just put it that way. Make sure to save before doing this, and make sure to get those new weapons for Rand and Ryu.
Would you say this upcoming fight is harder than the one with the giant bug?
Yes, much harder. Definitely not as long, though.
Gotta love those RNG-filled battles.
Indeed. Although, on the bright side, we don't need to go through a dungeon in order to get to this next fight, so it's not like Nemfo, where you'll usually win, but lose about 12 minutes if you don't.
Right.
Also, you see that cold breath? That's why we want to use a fire whelp or an ice whelp if we meet more than one of those, because 2 cold breaths will just wipe us.
That's harsh.
Indeed. This is a harsh game. I mean, nothing is as bad as the town of Colossia was, but it still takes a while before it really gets easy.
Right.
Anyways, keep in mind that as you go through this area, you'll need to sacrifice your items in order to proceed, so we're not going to be able to refill our whelp spell, so keep that in mind. And we're also going to be giving up most of our equipment as we go through here, because I guess when you're at a cafe, it's just proper etiquette to not be decked out in weapons and armor, which makes sense. I'm following most of these, but I'm gonna keep my weapons and my shields because, you know, I can use my sword as a fork. I can use our shields as plates, so there's no problem here.
Also, I noticed that the sprite for the buff guy was the same one for that black man. There he is.
Yep, there he is. Unfortunately, you're gonna fight one of these guys for every instruction you ignore, which is actually the real reason why we followed most of them. Because with our lessened equipment, this guy hits really hard. Hard enough that even in the defensive formation, Rand is the only one that can take 2 full-on hits from him. If anyone else takes a hit with their napkins and everything else, they're gonna need to defend for the round, so keep that in mind.
Well, fortunately he doesn't have much HP.
Indeed. Man, it's the HR director's estranged cousins. Bummer. Also, he has a bow tie.
Damn, his hits are just so hard.
Indeed. Which is why we're only gonna be messing with one of those guys, because see that? Rand literally ran out of AP healing up the damage we took, so we don't have it in us to fight yet 2 more of those guys, which we would have needed to do if we were more disobedient.
Right.
Also, this here, very important. It's very important that you answer rare. Let's just say we're gonna lose some HP no matter what. And choosing the rare option helps us lose the least amount of HP, because you see, when they asked you how you would like your meat cooked, they really meant your meat.
Oh, so you lose the most HP depending on the answer.
Yes, and if you ignore it outright, the furnace just goes crazy and reduces everyone to 1. Not that it makes much of a difference, because this guy's attacks are brutally overpowered, as you will see here. He's got his regular melee, which isn't so bad, but he's also got Slice and Dice, which are 2 defense-piercing attacks that are effectively one-hit KOs. Like, Rand might survive a Slice, but if anyone gets hit by Dice, they're just dead. No questions about it. So basically, your only option is to kill this guy before he kills you. Like so.
Man, screw dragons, like, this guy's so much more powerful than them.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, Skyzo. Oh, here's Dice! Boom! More than 100.
Meanwhile, we're hitting 30s.
Yeah. There's Slice, which... Okay, that did a little less than I thought. I guess Ryu can survive it as well, but... That one can also do up to 80, so... It can also kill you, and Dice is just an insta-kill. Don't even bother with the normal formation once Cat gets hit, because... Like, the only benefit to having a more defensive formation is that she can survive a melee attack. After that, you just want to go all out with Scramble and do as much damage as you can. Alright, Skyzo. This is a Paragon versus Renegade choice. We can either forgive these guys, or we can choose to hold a grudge. And the amount of times we choose to hold a grudge affects that dragon's tier. And whether or not it's green, influences what reward we get. Because you see, if he likes us, he will teach us the Slice ability, which is a fairly good mid-game and early-game attack. It costs 0 AP, does around 50 to 80 to a target, and it ignores defense, so it's a really good ability for Sten. But what we really want is the reward he gives us if he doesn't like us. Some food, which hopefully wasn't made from human flesh, we don't really ask about that, which increases everyone's maximum HP by 16 points. This is amazing. Due to the way I'm playing this game, everyone's gonna be horribly underleveled by the time we fight the final boss. They won't even be level 30. Which means that without that boost, Lean can literally get one-hit KO'd by some end-game attacks. Like, Slice is neat, especially on Sten, but 16 points of HP is what you really want. It has more lasting value and is just incredible. But it only goes to the guys in your active party, so that's why our choice of party member was so important.
I imagine after a while in the end game, you won't notice it as much.
Probably not, but still, it turns some one-hit KOs into two-hit KOs, so at least if you're as underleveled as me, but... Wait a minute, do we recognize her? Yes, we do! It's the girl we've been searching for this whole time. Look at her. Do you recognize her?
Yeah, she's from a very early episode, actually.
And for some reason, the game never mentions her here. Like, we're running around doing all this stuff in a castle full of French-speaking frogs, but not once does the game actually bring up that she's here. You're just sort of expected to notice her. It's weird. It's like the game itself forgot why we were doing all this.
So I imagine what happened was that they didn't expect you to, turn off the ear and whatnot.
Indeed. Anyways, this guy is someone else you go all out with, but have Lean defend. He has about a 38% chance of using counterattacks for every melee attack, and even with that HP boost, Lean is still a little fragile, so we want her defending while the other guys do most of the work. Fortunately, he's pretty easy, so not like Wildcat.
Man, that dragon form is insane. Does so much damage.
Isn't it scary that the second tiers were literally twice as strong?
Yeah, I don't think we have reached the first tier.
No, we're using the first tier right now. Well, wait a minute. Oh, okay. When I say first tier, I meant weakest. Does that mean strongest or weakest?
Well, usually it means the strongest or the best.
We'll call them third tier dragons. Okay, we'll figure that out. But anyways, here's our friend Jean. Just painting a picture in jail. Just minding his own business.
Oh, painting a picture in jail, as you do.
Yeah. Also, as amusing as the other options are, he doesn't say anything interesting, so let's just move on with the plot. Now, this is gonna be a lot of talking, so there's something I want to get out of the way. You don't actually have to do the Wildcat Cafe as early as we did. The game will direct you there after this next cutscene, but here's the problem. If you wait until after this point, there's gonna be a cutscene instead of the conversation that we had after the boss fight. And that cutscene locks us out of getting either the HP boost or the slice ability. So you have to go to the Wildcat Cafe early and fight all the bosses and everything, or else you miss out on the reward. And no, you don't get to skip the boss fights. Those you have to do no matter what. It's just a matter of if you get rewarded for it or not.
Interesting.
Indeed. That one I considered skipping altogether since it's another one of those guy dang it moments, but on that point I considered it's not like the second tier dragon spells, so it's a bonus, but it's a small one. Like, the walkthrough won't suffer for us getting it.
Right.
And, it turns out Tapeda lost the, proof to his royalty. No. See, he didn't lose it. He gave it away to Nemfo the Witch, that charming yet vexing young woman. Aww.
Oh, is that the one we met, like, last episode?
Yep. Guess who we're gonna have to see yet again.
Interesting.
Also, I love Tapeda's attitude. Like, in his head, she's a good witch, just not very good with people.
Well, he's not wrong.
Well, I'm not sure about the good witch part, but... well, I guess she's not evil either. Anyways, if you go back to her house, Yeah, you get this message, because she went out to the Wildcat Cafe as well, and that is when most players would actually go through to the place. It's just, they won't get the rewards for it. Ever.
A very odd sight here, with many, what is going on?
It's a witch reunion. They're just eating at the Wildcat Cafe that chops people to bits and serves them as meat. No big deal. Man-eaters.
But why do they all look the same?
I don't know. Maybe that's what all witches look like. Maybe they're all descended from Nurse Joy.
Hey, maybe this is a clone spell.
Could be. Also, like, if you're that bothered about Nemfo gathering up men and turning them to stone, you could just do something about it. Rescue romance?
Pretty much.
Aww, look at her. She's sad, Skyzo.
Well, she should be.
Yeah. And this is actually something I'll give the game credit for. It's interesting seeing someone who would have just been a card-carrying villain in most other games and actually seeing them down and out like this. It's interesting.
Well, it's a strange sight for sure.
But yeah, were it not for her powers, she might have had a chance despite her compulsive personality and flaring hot temper. It's just because she does have the powers, everyone's too scared to go near her. It's great pathos. Anyways, let's go down the toilet and get that ring. Enough about Nemfo.
Right.
Hey, I didn't write this. Also, here is where the run command also sort of breaks things a little. See, what's supposed to happen in the base game is that you can only walk. You'd almost reach the ring, but not quite, and then it'd float further down and you'd have to walk up to get it. You don't fight any monsters though, so I decided to go ahead and get it. It's just, since the game was expecting you to walk, you still see the sprite on screen, even when you pick it up.
It's a little odd, but, you know, you have the option. Might as well use it.
Yeah. And what's sad is that the game never really follows up on Nemfo. Like, I kind of would have liked like a post-credits sequence of her and Tapeta getting married, or at the very least putting herself back together again, but as far as we know, that's the end of her storyline. Kind of a bummer.
Really? She's never mentioned again?
Nope. A lot of people theorized that she was supposed to join us later, and in fact, I wonder if she's actually the one that was supposed to be the secret character, because the one who ends up being the secret character is sort of a female spell-casting witch just like her, but instead it's a callback to Breath of Fire 1. Anyways, that's all for this episode. This has been Fiona Day Questers, signing out. Have a nice day, everyone, and God bless you.
Alright, I'll see you later, YouTube.
Bye!